it's going to work. Hopefully, can you guys hear me over here on the YouTube channel? Can you hear me? 5x5, thank God, because man, this thing has been a pain. Thank you, Glenn, for the 5x5. Thank you, Scott, for the 5x5. Annalisa, thank you for saying that you can hear me, because this was going nuts. Ohio Valley Prepping, my friend, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Scott is in the house. Thank you, Scott. Salt Mist is in the house. Thank you for the 5x5. And we are off to a good start. Praise the Lord. That's all I can say tonight. We got TikTok up here going right now. So TikTok is following us. Guys, keep clicking that screen. And let's get the likes coming in so we can get that further out there. Facebook is over here. I usually don't see any comments when I'm going live here. It says comments will appear here, but I never see until later on. I get to see all the comments down there. All right, so let's see. KP Heathen, welcome back, my friend. It's been a while. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us tonight. Ohio Valley Prepping. Yes, smash the like button and share this out so we can get this a little bit out further. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming in and joining. I think I got everybody. I said Annalisa. Ohio Valley. Yeah. Glenn is here. And so is Scott. All right, so let's go ahead and start. If you're new to the channel, my name is Fernando, and I am God's Prepared Warrior. This is God's Prepared Warrior channel, and this channel is all about prepping spiritually and physically. And we talk a lot about how in preparedness you need both. And so that's my channel, and I am so glad that all of you are here with me tonight on all three of these platforms. Tonight is going to be a different live because I'm going to have later on a question and answer time for all of you to ask me questions about my hunting trip. Yeah, so that's going to be later on. So I don't want you to put any questions in right now. Salt Mist is going to remind you, don't put your questions in right now until Fernando says it's time for the Q&A session, right? That's the Q&A session. So everything else is going to be the same except for that. That will replace our topic for the evening, and I will be here to answer anything that you guys want to ask or talk about the channel, or maybe my hunting, because I'm going to talk about the hunting trip and then we'll go to Q&A. But even if you want to ask other questions about the hunting trip, we can also do that tonight. So I'm excited for tonight, and I'm so glad that all of you are here. So if you're here for the first time, we do this every Monday night at 9 p.m. And you might ask why at 9, because there are several other channels that go live prior to mine that I actually will fall into and be a part of. So just like you guys, I am also a watcher. So yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and start. And normally what I do is I go over the channel news. The channel news is really simple because this channel is all about you guys. You guys make this channel, right? And I will always be humble and say that without you guys, this would just be me here talking into a space and nobody listening. And so you guys are the ones that make this channel, and I am thankful and grateful to all of you who watch the channel. So all of you on TikTok up here, thank you for joining me. Keep clicking the screen. Let's get some likes going so we can get it thrown out further on TikTok. So let's look at the channel news this week. On YouTube, we are up. I'm excited because I said we were going to be stuck in the 900s for a while on YouTube. So all of you in Facebook, all of you over here in TikTok, if you have not subscribed to the channel over here on YouTube, I want you to go to YouTube, look for God's Prepared Warrior, subscribe to the channel, because this is where the community is really at. And you're going to get a lot of neat things there. And so make sure that you subscribe to YouTube. Right now we're sitting at 963 subscribers on YouTube. That's awesome. We're almost to 1,000, and I said we're going to be stuck in the 900s. So and we have been, but as of today, or as of this last week, we have gained 14 new members from the previous week, and so that's really awesome. I'm excited, and we just want to welcome all of our new family members over on YouTube. Over on TikTok, we are sitting at 3,907 followers on our TikTok page, and that's really awesome. We actually gained this last week 12 new followers over on TikTok. So you guys are killing it. Keep sharing the channel so we can get this thrown out there further. On Facebook, we are sitting at 183. We are moving on Facebook. I can't believe this. We are moving on Facebook. We're at 183 followers on the God's Prepared Warrior Facebook page, which we gained 2 new followers this last week, which is awesome because we've been in probably like a month that we haven't had any growth, but we got 2 new friends. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. The Facebook community group page. So we also have a group page in Facebook. If you go to the groups tab, you can find us under God's Prepared Warrior Community. And that is where I'm using that group page as a, you go over there and you're going to see more things that you probably will not see on normal Facebook page, or maybe even in YouTube, or, you know, on TikTok. So make sure you go over there, because that's technically my members page and you don't have to pay anything. So go over there, Facebook, go to the groups tab, click on the groups tab and search God's Prepared Warrior Community. Make sure you're following us there, because there you're going to get a whole lot more things. So if you are a part of that, you saw a lot of pictures over the weekend that I posted in there from my hunting trip. So I'm just saying, go, it's free. You just answer, I think, like 3 questions, and not really hard. It's not a test. And just join the community there. It's pretty cool. So we're up 3 new followers there. We're up at 42 members or followers there on the community page there on Facebook. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Over on X, we're sitting at 1,056 followers there, and we gained 1 new person over the week. Instagram, we are now sitting at 1,088, and over the week we gained 18 new followers over on Instagram. So a total of this week, we have gained 50 new community members in all of social media platforms that we're a part of. And that's super cool. And I'm excited because you guys are killing it. So thank you for being here. Let's see. I have no idea how many subs I have. OVP, I track this every week, so I always keep a running list. So yeah, because it's like I say, it's you guys that are making this channel. I'm just kind of a talking head here. So yeah. All right. Let's look at a few things that are happening. I wrote them down. So if you've been following me for a little bit, we've been talking about God's Prepared Warrior prayer team, right? I've asked you guys if you want to be part of that prayer team. We're going to meet once a month, probably over Zoom, and we're going to gather together and on a designated day and time for maybe, I wouldn't even say more than an hour, and just kind of talk about some of the things that we're getting on our channels, social media pages, that people are not calling, but they're texting. Actually, they do call, and they're saying, Fernando, I have a prayer request. Can we pray for this thing? So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Salt Miss, but I think I've been talking about this maybe for the last 3 lives. And so since that time, um, um, we have been getting lots of people who say, Fernando, pray for this, right? And so I have been diligently praying for these requests that have been coming in, because I've asked all of you in the community, if you wanted to be a part of that, to shoot me an email, send me a message, throw it here in the comments, say, Fernando, I want to be part of that. And so, like I said, I would just want to gather face to. You don't even have to have your camera on. You can just, if you don't want your face to be seen, and I just want other people to join me in prayer for these folks. So today, I'm not going to give you names or anything, but I will say I had a phone conversation today with someone who was asking prayer for themselves and for their son who is in the military. And, I tell you, I'm not afraid to talk to people. I love talking to people. If you know me, and you can comment in the comments, I know Fernando, he loves to talk to people. And so, it's been the Lord who has called me to talk to people and to lead them to him. And so I listen really well. I think I listen really well. And, I always pull scripture and talk scripture and share scripture. Hey, John, welcome in. And so events at Guild, Real Cream, thank you for joining us tonight. So, I really, truly feel that God has put that in my path to pray and lead people to him. And so I had this conversation today, and it was a really, really awesome conversation over the phone. And this individual, he was sharing with me his story. He was sharing with me about his son. And I just had to say, hey, you know what? Let's pray. Can I pray? And he's like, yeah. And so we prayed together, and he was so thankful. So if you want to be part of the God's Prepared Warrior prayer team, you can announce that in here if you want to. Salt Miss will gather your guys' names who want to be a part of it. And if not, you can send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. And just say, hey, Fernando, I want to be part of that prayer team. And we're only going to meet once a month, maybe not even for an hour, but just go over some of the requests that have come in, and we will keep those things in prayer. Now, in the same token, if you guys have prayer requests, send them to me. You guys have access to all of my social media. You can send me a message, through the messenger platforms in those platforms, and just say, Fernando, can you pray for this, right? You don't necessarily need to be part of the prayer team. You can actually say, Fernando, I need prayer for this thing. And don't be surprised if I call you and say, hey, you know what, let's pray, because I like to do that. Okay, Annalisa, we will add you. She wants to be part of the prayer team. Great. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So that's in the works. Bug out weekend. Oh man, let me tell you, today I spoke with someone, and they gave me a lot of places to seek to host a bug out weekend. So today, as of today, we're getting closer to finding a spot for bug out weekend in November of next year. So again, if you guys want to be part of bug out weekend and you want to come camp with us, make sure you let us know, and some way to contact you, so that, like I say, just send me a message or an email, and that way we can add you to the list. And it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be the weekend of Thanksgiving, so that's when I get a whole week off and I can do things like this. And normally that's when I go camping anyway. Usually go at the beginning of the week, but I'm going to flip my trips around this next year, just so that we can do bug out weekend, Texas edition. And I'm excited. So that way we can get ready for that. If you want to be part of, for lack of better words, a trainer or a teacher for the weekend to talk about prepping, maybe say, Fernando, I want to talk about this kind of prepping, or urban preparedness, or I have this I want to talk about, let me know and I'll let you do that. I know OVP's experience in a lot of things, and and most of you guys that plan to come. So let's put together that team, and we will be in contact a couple of times before that event, just to kind of put together everything. And it's going to be a fun weekend of camping, learning some new skills and putting them into practice, right? I want all of you to learn and to practice. And so that's what this whole weekend is about. And of course, it's going to be a great time of fellowship and, great meals together, and all of that. So as we get closer to that date, things will continue to roll out. So I'm excited for that. So think about those things. You want to be part of that, let us know, or send me an email, or contact me through Messenger or whatever, and say, Fernando, I want to be part of that. And that way we can start the running list, because I think right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who would like to attend. So, and I know things will happen from now until then. And, if you can't make it, it's okay. If you tell me, now, Fernando, I want to go. And then when we get there, Fernando, I'm not going to be able to make it. That's okay. Because we're going to try to do this more often, even after that event. So I'm excited about that. Keep that date handy, because that's going to be coming up this year, or this next year. So so keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next segment, which is in the news. These are just a few things that I pull out for all of you to kind of be aware of that's happening in our news. And maybe not all of you are like me and are always watching what's happening in our world, but these are just some of the things I think it's important for us to watch. Hey, Crazy Cat, thank you for joining. Cat Crazy, thank you for joining us. Bobby, thank you for joining us over here on TikTok. Keep hitting the like. Keep hitting the screen, guys. So the U.S. hit a drug boat loading facility today in Venezuela. So apparently, we now have some kind of attack. I don't know if you want to call it an attack, but we went into Venezuela and we blew something up. And so I don't know if that's boots on the ground, or if what kind of activity that is. So we know that Southern Spear is something that was started a while back. I don't know if that's part of that thing that's happening, but according to the news article today, it says on Reuters, the U.S. hit a drug boat loading facility in Venezuela. This is Donald Trump talking today because Benjamin Netanyahu came to visit. And so he started talking about that and let that out of the bag today there in Florida. And so that actually happened. So that's something to keep an eye out on, because, we have like warships in that area. And, parents of kids who are on those boats are, at the edge of their seat, I can imagine. And so, I think it's important for us to keep our military personnel in prayer, and that we, pray for not only for the personnel, but for the parents of those men and women that are fighting out there. And so, let's pray for the parents, because I can't even imagine how they must feel and what they're going through, just like the gentleman I talked to today and prayed with today. So let's keep parents in prayer also of our soldiers that are on the front lines and are over there. So that's something to really pay attention to, and just keeping a watchful eye out for. The next thing, oh, my computer froze for a second. The next thing I have here is, of course, Trump met with Netanyahu today. This was their second day of diplomacy meeting together. There was a live, I think it was televised live on YouTube. I didn't get to watch it much today because I was working on other things here on social media. So they talked about, the Gaza ceasefire plan. President Donald Trump said that, the meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was productive, but there's some disagreements that remain, just kind of over the occupied West Bank. Donald Trump is, working that out with Israel. The other thing that he talked about today too was that Donald Trump was really upset with Vladimir Zelensky, because he had a call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today after his meeting with Netanyahu, and he said that that his homes were. They described over 100 drones that flew over, I think, one of his homes and either attacked it. Vladimir Zelensky says that it wasn't them. I don't know. We just got to keep that in prayer. That's we already know that if we poke the bear is going to respond, and somebody is poking the bear. And so we kind of need to be mindful and watchful for that. In the next piece of news, by the way, if you guys want to look at these news articles, they're in the description of the YouTube live link today, so you can follow along if you want. The next one is from NPR, and heavy snow, strong winds, and extreme chill sweep from the Midwest to the East Coast. And so a lot of places, not in Texas, got tons of snow, and winds were really crazy. And so in Texas, all we got were crazy winds and lower temperatures. So it's been kind of cold today. Not for me. I'm still wearing shorts. To me, it's still summer. We don't get cold like in Maine, just saying. And so the weather has been pretty bad across the United States. So just let's keep people in prayer, because a lot of things are going to happen because of that. And, power outages can happen, accidents can happen because, people aren't precautious when they're driving in inclement weather, and it can cause a mess. So let's just know that, wherever you are, whatever kind of weather you are receiving, pay attention to it. Make sure your home is winter ready. Make sure that you know, if it's going to be freezing temperatures where you are, bring in all your pets and your plants. Check on your neighbors. You know, make sure that your heater is in order. Don't just turn it on. Have somebody come clean it out, because it could catch fire with all the dust that accumulates over the year, and you just want to make sure that that's happening. So let's keep that in prayer. And if you're in Texas, there's just different degrees of coldness depending where you are in the state. Here where I am centrally, it's, you know, it's not too bad. I've been outside most of the day in my shorts. So yeah, my wife's freezing, but I'm not. All right, the next one comes from Eyewitness News, ABC 7. There was a helicopter accident today in New Jersey. And this is another, I think the last helicopter accident was in the same city, I think. I could be wrong. But this happened today. Midair, two helicopters collided. And according to the news article, these two pilots, you know, always flew together. They met together there at the airport where they meet. They, you know, go and have like, I guess like a fellowship time there at one of the restaurants, and then they fly back. So they're two friends, and they are private pilots. So their helicopters are privately owned. And so these two pilots were, you know, collided this morning. There was one that passed away at the scene, and the other was shipped to the hospital, and he was in a life-threatening condition when he arrived. So let's keep these families in prayer for the ones who lost their loved one, and the one that is in the hospital. Let's continue to pray for him and his recovery, Lord willing. I haven't heard anything else new from that, about that pilot, but it was a really, really bad scene when you watch the video. So let's pray for that those folks that were injured in that. The next one comes from actually in my area. A Texas teen was went missing Christmas Eve. Authorities believe that she could be in imminent danger. And so this young lady went for a run, and she went missing. She's 19 years old, and she went missing on the edge of San Antonio. And so it's a really big thing. It's hit national news. It wasn't just here where I live, but it actually hit nationally. So let's keep this family in prayer, and let's keep her in prayer. Her name is, let's see, does it even say here? No, but her father is Alfonso Mendoza. And so let's keep him in prayer. And her name is Rosario Olmos. So she has been missing. So let's keep this family in prayer. I think that's important. Let's see. Tracking. Let's see. There are power outages in the metro of Detroit as the storm brings high winds. So just like I was talking about earlier, guys, this storm system that's coming through, it's dumping snow. It has a lot of wind in it. Here in Detroit, the winds, because, you know, windy city, right? The winds have caused power outages in southeastern Michigan. And so there are people without power in the cold. This is why I say be prepared, right? Be prepared, because you just never know when the lights will go out. What is the temperature going to be like outside? And what are you going to do when the lights go out and it's cold outside, right? We talk a lot about that on this channel. And so make sure you go check out all the videos that I have for winter preparedness on the YouTube channel. That's important. Nancy Pelosi predicts that Democrats will win the House, gavel back in 26. So she she believes that they're going to win. So Hakeem Jeffries, you know, is also in the mix with this here. They interviewed him today too, and he has no doubt that the Democrats will win the House. So we'll see. Go out and vote, people. Go out and vote. All right, last one. Um, Police found the man who was shot in the chest, Midtown Manhattan. So I didn't see this till today, but Midtown Manhattan in New York City police decided to charge a man who was shot in the chest on Sunday night today. Right, the shooting happened just after 10 p.m. Sunday there in New York. Detectives believe that the man who shot himself and then falsely reported that someone wearing black shot him. So he is going to be charged for this thing. It sounds like he tried to cover it up and make false accusations. And so, yeah. Why did I choose this story? Because what if you were in the street and you were walking by and you witnessed this event, or maybe you didn't see it with your eyes but you heard it, or maybe it just really unfolded right in front of you. What are you going to do, right? We have to have situational awareness about us, and I think that's important for all of us to do. Just like the young lady that is missing, we need to know where we are. We need to know where all the exits are. It's not being paranoid. It's not about fear. It's about taking care of yourself, right? Being a good steward of you, right? God has, giving you eyes to see, ears to hear, right? And hopefully, you have learned some kind of skill to help defend if you need to do that. So just thought I would share that because that can actually come and touch anybody at any time, right? All right, so let's move on to I'm going to talk for a little bit about my camping trip. I'm sorry, about my hunting trip. And then I am going to, because I know you guys are wanting to know, especially if you saw my pictures. And then we're going to have a question and answer time that you guys can have for me. So let me share a little bit about my camping or my hunting trip, and then we'll go into Q&A. So my best friend Joe and I went again to the ranch, and we, last trip we went during Thanksgiving. I came home with doe, and so she is in the freezer, part of my preps, right? And so this weekend, we weren't skunked. I will not say we weren't skunked. We didn't come home with any kind of venison, but we did come home with a rabbit. So, I told my friend Joe, I said, hey, we didn't lose. We still, came out on top. We brought home rabbit for rabbit stew. And so, my mom, she's like, well, did you get anything? And I said, no, Mom, we didn't get no deer, but we did get some rabbit for rabbit stew. And so it sounds like my mom is wanting to try the rabbit stew. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. A friend of mine who is here tonight shared that I could also make rabbit fajitas. And I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. With some Spanish rice or Mexican rice and some borracho beans. Man, it'll go down hard. I'm just saying. So we came home with some rabbit, Joe and I, and we had a really good time. It was hot this last weekend, and so I didn't have to use a jacket or anything like we did on Thanksgiving weekend, right? It was super cold then, but it was really hot this last weekend, and so the night wasn't too terrible in the cabin. it did get cool at night, which was a great thing. So yeah, so we were out there. We left Friday. We left Friday afternoon or evening, and we got there, got everything set up, and then we went out first light on Saturday, and saw a whole lot of nothing other than quail and rabbits. And so, when you're sitting in the deer stand and the rabbits come out, it's like still really early, and you're like, no, I don't want to take a rabbit, because if I shoot my gun, if there's any deer in the vicinity, they're gonna run. So, Saturday was really a bust. We didn't shoot anything, um, and so Sunday morning was the time to come home with something. We weren't coming home with the bacon or the venison. We were coming home with some rabbit, and so that's what we did. So it was pretty fun, and we got to spend some time with the landowner, and he's a good friend of ours, and it was pretty fun. So we got back Sunday evening, and actually when we were leaving, we ran into a neighbor out there, and so we got to talking to them. We would have left a little earlier, but we got to visiting with that neighbor, and they were showing us their catch. I mean, they had 3 deers, and I'm like, no wonder we didn't get no deers this time, because they got stopped here. So yeah, it was it was an eventful weekend. I love being out in the ranch. You guys know I love being outside. I just love the quietness of it. I love just seeing God's hand in all of that creation. So yeah, that was my trip. We, like I said, we didn't come back with any venison, but we came home with some rabbit. So if you have not seen that picture, I think I did post it on the post here on YouTube, and I will post the rest of that probably out on regular social media later on. So that way you guys can see that. Now, I know you guys have been prepping. Brother Glenn has prepped a lot of corn over the weekend, and so he shared with me a picture, and he wanted me to show the picture, but because I don't, this stream platform I use doesn't allow me to show that picture. But I saw that picture, Glenn, and he made a lot of sweet corn. He canned it, and he's got it on his shelf, and that man is a cannon guy. So, Glenn, congratulations on your continued preparedness and sharing that information with me today. All right. So let's see. There are safe places anymore. That's right, Scott. You're right. All right. So let's go to Q&A. If you guys have any questions for me, I would love to answer some questions you guys might have, and see where we go from there. Salt Mist is saying okay, guys, the chat is open for Q&A. Yes, keep everything in all caps. It's a whole lot more easier for me to see. Jamie Wyatt, hello, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. We're talking about, this is a Q&A for me. So if you guys over on TikTok have any questions for me, I would love to answer. Hopefully I can see them. Hopefully my moderator over there, Armando, can help me if I miss a question or two. All right, so let's see. Glenn says, thanks, Fernando. You are welcome, my friend. Rabbit chili. That does sound good. Not too long ago, I took some venison chili to the office, and everybody loved it that tried it. So, yeah, rabbit chili does sound good with cheese and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we just might have to try that, Annalisa. All right. Can I borrow Glenn? I have beans that need pressure canning. Oh, hey, Glenn, I think we just found you a job, my friend. All right. Lori, I think I'm saying your name right. Hi, welcome tonight to the channel. I'm glad you're here. All right. Any of you have any questions, let me know. Let's see. Jamie White says hello. All right. Armando, if you want to just post in there, if anybody has any questions they want to ask me, they can ask. And if you can help me, if I miss them, I'm gonna put Mondo to work. All right. And Glenn's corn. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to make that. Yeah. But yeah, so we had a lot of fun over. And another thing I got to do was sight in my AR. So I'm going to do a video this week about my boomsticks, and that way you guys can see like my rifle that I use for hunting, that I love so much. And so I'm going to do a video this week on that, so you guys can see that. Glenn says, funny you should mention beans. I'm about to start on canning baked beans. Man, I'm gonna have to get me one of those. I'm gonna have to send you an empty mason jar, Glenn. OVP Fernando, would you like to be on the 0 Hour podcast sometime? Yes, add me to that, my friend. I would love to do it. Would love to be out there with you guys. Yeah. You can send me all the details. My email address is godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. Scott says that would be awesome. Yeah, because Scott and I are usually watching. We're in there watching and chatting away. Saltmist says, yes, 0 Hour is awesome. Yes. So you guys got to, if you guys have not followed Ohio Valley Prepping, you got to follow his channel. Make sure you follow Vision Preparedness and also Rule 2IOC, his channel. I love these guys. They are super awesome. And I have learned a lot from these guys when it comes to preparedness. So remember, guys, I'm not going to say I'm still new. I'm going to say that I am new because I came into preparedness in 2020 when COVID hit, and I was standing in that line looking and talking with the guy in front of me saying, what are they getting? What are they bringing home? Is there toilet paper in their basket? I remember that. And I realized that I wasn't prepared. And so, talking about it, your phone listens to everything you say. And so when I jumped into YouTube, all of these channels began to just kind of come up about prepping, and I kind of fell into that space. Now, back in the day when the History Channel started the series on Doomsday Preppers, when I first watched it, I'm like, these guys are crazy. But in 2020, all of that came, clear. I'm like, wow, these guys were right. And so, Hollywood kind of, made them seem crazy, but yeah, no, they weren't crazy. They were the ones that knew the truth. So guys, make sure you're following OVP and his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff over there. I love his videos he posts out. So do you swap medicinal skincare recipes here? You know what? We need to. And actually, thank you, Annalisa, for bringing that up. So one of my new preps that you're going to see here pretty soon is I have put in an order for herbal teas because, we're getting into the cold and flu season. Part of my preps that I'm working on is that. And so I've been learning a lot from Annalisa. Annalisa is one of my coworkers, and so she is really smart in that. And I have another friend who has come out with OVP and Rule and Vision Preparedness, I think. and Grit and Grace. If you follow her channel, she has been doing a lot of recipes when it comes to things like that. So she had a really good one today and yesterday. And I was hoping she was going to be here tonight, but I'm pretty sure she's now busy making videos. So, follow her channel too. She's got a lot of great recipes for herbal things. And so I've learned a lot from her also. And so that's one of my next couple of videos that's going to come out as soon as I get all that stuff in that you guys will be able to see. Let's see. What did I miss? Guilds of Rio Queen. Doomsday preppers are extreme preppers. Yes, they are. Many are in our group are everyday preppers. Yes, and homesteaders. If you follow my friend, oh gosh, thank you for sharing that, Guilds of Rio Queen, because Mike Tango Whiskey. If you follow him, he's come on the channel a lot here recently, and I follow him. Really cool. And I'm going to talk about him here in a minute. But he talks about the 68%. He says that they're not tactical ninjas, and they're not they're kind of in the middle preppers, and so you made me think of that when you say that they're everyday preppers. That's what Mike Tango Whiskey talks about on his channel. So follow him also. He's a pretty good guy. So speaking of him, my wife and I were at Hobby Lobby after Christmas. We went to go, and they always have specials. She always buys things on special for next year. And I posted a picture of a ornament, a spam ornament. It's a spam can ornament. I posted that out. Glenn was like, "Why did you post that?" And because it's one of the preps that preppers, stock, right? They stock that kind of stuff, and so I took a picture with it. But in the same moment, there was a compass ornament, and I took a picture of that compass ornament, and I actually tagged. I tagged him in that picture, and I said, "Hey, I found this ornament. I should buy it and send it to you." And it was hilarious. He actually messaged back, and he says, "No, you keep that piece of crap." If you follow his channel, he hates compasses. So yeah, so I was just giving it a little razz there. So I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, Scott Humber says Jason the Angry Pepper was on Doomsday Preppers. I didn't know that. Now you're going to make me go back to the archives and look for Jason. And I like Jason. Oh my God, when he's angry, he makes me laugh sometimes. I actually messaged him on Instagram, and I found out that his last name is the same as my last name. And so I messaged him and I said, "Hey, we could be cousins or something." And he actually answered me. He's like, "What do you mean?" And so I shared with him, I said, "We have the same last name." He just started laughing. So yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to go check that out. Thanks, Scott, for sharing that. Saltman says, "Fernando, what is your food storage plan?" Okay, so right now, what we're doing is every time we go to the store, whatever we pick up extra items, right? We pick up extra beans, we pick up extra rice. Sometimes when we go to Costco, we buy the huge bags of rice. If you follow my posts on social media, a while back, I posted all of the rice and beans that I sealed with the food processor sealer, and so I do that. But we pick up extra canned items every time we go, and we're building on that. So when I look at everything that we have collectively, I can say that we're probably 6 to 7, maybe 8 months in food storage is where we're at. So that is saying that as long as the freezers are going, everything's going to be okay, right? So when you take that element out of that equation, then it varies, right? Because you can't eat all of your frozen items. When the grid goes down and there's no light and you can't plug your refrigerator unless you have solar power, right? Or a generator. And so, you got to look at that also. But that's what we do. And so Glenn has asked me, have I bought a canner? I have not yet. I am looking for one. I do have a dehydrator, a small one, and I have, yeah, that's what I have. And I know that I can water bath things. And so if there's anything that I'm going to do is water bath those items that I can water bath. So that's my plan. And like I said, I just ordered my medicinal stuff, and so that will be coming in. And then I'll be talking about that because I'm learning all of that stuff, and I'm learning it from several people. And so I'm putting together my plan for that kind of thing. So that's what I'm doing. And so I think, Salt Miss, we're at 6 months, 7 months, but I'm aiming for a year. And what are you building to? I want to build to a year. So, and like I said, this, and not just for me, but for everybody, if you guys have access to a generator, some type of generator, because if power goes out, you're going to need that for freezers and your refrigerator, unless you have different kinds of things, right? Let's see. OVP says Grace is awesome. Yeah, she's really cool. Actually, one of her videos today, you actually got to see her. She actually came out in one of her videos, so I thought that was pretty cool. Because it's always good to see the face behind the voice, right? You guys know me because I'm not afraid to come out and go live and do all this kind of stuff. Some people are. I reached out to her at one point. I'm like, when are you going to do a video? And then all of a sudden she just started doing videos, and I'm like, yes. But she never showed herself. So actually today, for the first time, I got to see her. So yeah, follow her page. She's pretty awesome. She's got a lot of great recipes. Salt Miss says, Annalisa, we just need to be careful about medical advice. Yeah, because we're not doctors. You're right. YouTube is weird about that. Let's see. Scott Hummer, he hates when people remind him of that. You're probably talking about Mike Tango whiskey. Yeah, about the compasses. Yeah. OVP says, Fernando, I sent you an email. If you have any questions about doing Bug Out Weekend, ask away. Okay, I will definitely do that. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. We have people asking about keeping foods fresh without electricity. So I have been actually studying that, and I know that there are publications, and I actually read one the other day. I'm going to save it and I'll post it on social media. I can't think right now. Latter-day Saints, they have a PDF, and I have it on how to build a cold storage. So I will post that out. I'll find that PDF. I know I saved it to my USB, so I will post that out so you guys can have that. There are ways that you can build a cold cellar if you don't live where there's a lot of rock. I think where we live, there's too much rock to really dig, unless you have heavy equipment to be able to do it. But you can dig a cold cellar and do it that way. There's also a way that you can utilize, the Amish utilize terracotta pots, and I'll find that video because I saved it, and I'll repost that video, because you can take terracotta pots, and they're 2-in-1, and I can't remember what I can't remember what you fill it with. I won't lie. But you fill it in between the two pots with something, and then you put all of your food in there, and it keeps things cold. That's what they use. And so I will find that video and repost it, so that we can look at alternatives when there is no electricity. So I will put that out. Gills of Real Cream. I'll put that out. Okay, Gills of Real Cream is having an April 1st meeting, so she will let you know more about that. It says, can your beans cook? Yes. Limited water and power will make cooking them difficult. Yes, that is true. OVP says we build ice houses. Yeah, you can do that too. Frozen year round without any power. All right, we're gonna have to learn from you, sir. Am I saying, hey, can you make a video? Yeah, I definitely am. Yeah, that would be awesome if you can share that video. That would be cool. I want to learn more about that. You can also dig a root cellar. That's the other one. Yes, thank you, Salmas, for sharing that. You can dig a root cellar, and that's why I'm saying your ground. If you don't have to dig through rock, you can do that. Here where I live in the city, everything has a rock base, and so it's kind of hard to dig once you get to that rock base. And so you will have to use heavy equipment. You'll have to have big muscle to get through that rock base just to get a little deeper. So I'm not even sure how deep we're able to dig. It probably isn't maybe but a 3 to 4 feet that we can dig, and maybe even less to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, you gotta kind of pay attention to that. Because of Real Cream, we have caliche rock. Yes, that's Texas, in the hill country in Texas. Yes, and you're right about that in the hill country. I will say our friend that owns the ranch, he's out in Langtree, Texas, and everything out there is rock. I mean, and it's not caliche rock, it's rock. Rock is actually coming out of the ground. It's weird. There's a lot of flat rock, and so it may look like there's dirt, but when you move that dirt, there's rock, and so it is totally insane. I told Joe, I said, man, we just need to bring some of this rock home from the ranch so that I can build a fire pit out here in the backyard. So yeah, so this depends on the soil on where you are. Saltman says, OVP, one of my friends is a Maine guide, and in February they start filling the ice houses here in the Northwoods. That's awesome. See, we couldn't have that here in Texas because it will all melt. I'm just saying. Let's see. Yeah, Scott says it's hard to dig in Fort Worth. Yeah, anywhere in Texas is hard to dig. Let's see. Ohio OVP says all this. Yep, that's that. It's ice time. Yeah. There's where we live. Okay. Yeah, let's see if I remember correctly. Learned how to make an ice house from the Amish. Yeah, they're the ones that do it. Salt Mist says, I think it's sand. You're right. It is sand. So in the 2 terracotta pots, they're big terracotta pots. And then so there's 2 in one, or there's one in one. And so in between the 2 pots, you fill it with sand, and then you fill it with water. And then you have a lid that goes on top. That's like a base of the terracotta pot. You can use on top to cover it, and it stays cool. So that is the other idea, Gills of Brew Queen, that I was talking about. Use 2 terracotta pots, and then you fill in between the 2 with sand, and you fill it with water. And of course, you got to plug the hole up at the bottom, but it keeps all of the items in there really cool. So that's a really neat thing. Let's see. Annalisa says, unless you're a fracker. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to break ground here in Texas. That's right. You got to have your own fracking machine. OVP says, Fernando, it won't melt, but you'd have to buy ice. We just make it ourselves. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Annalisa says they do something like that in the Middle East. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because it's super hot year round over there. That's true. Yeah, very true. Good stuff. All right. Carol. Hi, Carol. Carol says after the water evaporates, it cools the food. Okay, thank you. So once you fill it with water and the water evaporates, it cools the food. That's awesome. Thank you. It draws the heat away. Yes. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's important for us to think of ways um, to live without certain things. This is why I go camping. You know, when I remember when I first started, you know, the truck was full of stuff. I mean, my wife was like, "Why are you buying all this stuff?" Like, because I got to live outside. You just don't sit on the ground, uh, you know. And so, but I have learned since then to cut back on things and to kind of miniaturize my what I take. And so, you know, even camping has taught me a lot of things in the preparedness space, right? Salma says, Fernando, what is your favorite gear to take with you? That thing you can't live without. This year I got a Jackery. It's a really small solar power generator. It's a Jackery 300 Explorer, and it has two plugs, and then it has USB. It has a USB plug, and I think two USB Cs, and then it has, you know, like if you have something to put in a cigarette lighter, it has that. So if there is a piece of equipment that I can't live without, it's going to be that. For a number of reasons, to charge my equipment, right? My cameras, my camera batteries, my cell phone. It charges my radios because I'm a comms guy, and so it charges that when my radios run down. It also allows me to connect my mobile radio to it because it has the cigarette lighter plug, and the mobile radio that I have is for your vehicle, and it has that plug, and so it can power my 20-watt GMRS mobile unit, and so I'm able to do a lot of things with that. I can charge my flashlights. That's what I use it like when I went hunting this weekend. I took that with me so that I could charge all of charge my phone and all of my flashlights, because you know my flashlights need charging, and so I take that with me so that I can have all that charged and ready to go, so that I'm not without my cell phone. And then I also take wherever I go, I take my radio equipment with me. It's with me all the time. So that would be the other thing. You know, because I don't want to lose communications, because when you think about it in a prepping scenario, if the grid goes down, you know, you're going to lose cell service. You're going to need that, right? So I have multiple ways. I have, you know, GMRS, I have ham, I have a Meshtastic device, and you know, I have my mobile unit. And then my mobile unit, the one I bought, I have the Retivus RA25 mobile unit. I bought that on a Black Friday of last year, and normally it sells for, I think, $109, but I got it for $88 on Black Friday. And I like that radio because I can jailbreak it and turn it into a ham radio, and it's 25 watts, right? Where my UV5R Baofeng radio, which is only 10 watts or 8 watts, I could utilize that mobile unit and move from GMRS to ham in the event of an emergency and be able to communicate further, especially with the antenna that I have with it. It's in the room. But yeah, so if I had to choose some things, it would be my solar charger, and it would be my radio equipment, and then all your little stuff, how to start a fire, all that kind of thing, because I have several ways to do all of that, right? So yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Saltness, for asking that question. Let's see. Okay, is it important? Just buy a ton of MREs. Yeah, you could do that too. Now, the sodium content on that stuff is not really good for you, but when poop hits the fan, there's going to be a lot of changes when it comes to eating things, right? I always scare people and say, yeah, it's going to be, we're all going to love rat after that. We're going to be like Major Pain, and we're going to be cooking a rat in the corner somewhere. Oh, that freaks people out when I talk about that. Let's see. Something says I loved my grandparents from even when I had to use the outhouse. I remember those times too. I remember my grandparents, my grandmother, she had a room that was just specific for all of her canning. She did canning, all kinds of canning. And so I remember all the time, when we were in the kitchen, because it was in the kitchen where we were most of the time, and then we would run in and out of the kitchen because there were always cooking in there. We would run in and out of the kitchen to the backyard, and to get to the backyard, you had to go through this little room that she had her shelves with all the canned items that she would can in there, and always remember seeing that in there, and I've never forgotten that. And I wish too that would have learned how to do all that. But I did learn from my grandmother how to cook things. I love to cook. I don't know if I'm a good cook, but I love to cook. I love to be back there. I really like to cook outside. That's my favorite thing. And I think that part of me going camping is because I get to cook outside. And so, I just love doing it. So, yeah. Let's see. Invest in a couple of community freeze dryers. Yeah. So people with food allergies can make their own. Yeah, that would be awesome. Scott's talking about the MREs. He says you need a variety. As I was in the military for many years, MREs are a good meal on occasion. Yeah, it just depends on which one you get, but not long term. Yeah, because it's kind of like not really good. I was talking about this. I saw a video when we were at the ranch, and it was a guy who took a ramen noodle, right? He opened a ramen noodle pack. You know how they're freeze dried, right? And he used it. Get this, he used the ramen noodle as a fire starter, and that sucker caught fire. And I've always said, if you take that sugar, it is in the pink package. I forget what it's called. Anyway, if you take that sugar and you open it, right, and you get a lighter and you light it and you pour the sugar over the flame of the lighter, it catches fire. And so sweet and low. So that you can use as a fire starter. Just saying. Yeah. But a ramen noodle to start a fire, that blew my mind. I know that you can use Doritos. Doritos are a good fire starter out in the field. If you don't have anything else, you can get a Dorito chip and catch that sucker on fire, and it's going to burn. So yeah, Think about the things we eat, right? They're flammable. Why are you eating it? Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, MREs are good for not long term, but they're good in a pinch. I have them. I have them myself. Solomon says in Maine, we have net with 12 connected repeaters. That's awesome. We have, I say we have a good maybe 8 or 9 here in where I live around here. If you have a really good antenna, you can reach all of the outskirts too as well. If you put amplifier to it, you can reach out even further. But when it comes to ham radio, because ham radio, you can bounce that radio wave off the ionosphere. You can actually reach further. You can actually reach across the world. So that's a pretty neat thing too. Most definitely, you guys have any radio questions, want to learn about communications, make sure you send me a message and I'll answer them. Laxatives are needed. Yeah, you're right. When you eat those MREs, Scott says 100%. Shelly, welcome. Shelly, I didn't see you come in. Shelly, that's good. That's great. Let's see. I like chimneys. Gilza Real Queen says Texas to Sao Paulo was my first. That's cool. I haven't gotten to that yet. I still need to take my test. I keep putting it off, but I still need to take my test so I can get my technician's license so that I can do that. That's my goal. All right, guys. If you guys don't have any more questions, I think we're going to close for tonight. I love the opportunity to talk to all of you and kind of step away from the microphone and, just answer some of your questions. I want to do that. I want to continue to do that a little bit more often because I think that's important. You guys can always ask me a question. I'm an open book. If you follow me on social media, you'll know where I live, all that kind of stuff, because I'm just really out there. And, yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining my live stream tonight. All of you that have been here with me and hung out with me and talking about all of this kind of stuff. It's so much fun. And I love you guys. And I'm always praying. And I mean it when I tell you I'm always praying for all of you. Rat asada talk. Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna put nothing. When poop hits the fan, it's all game. It's all game at that point. Oh man, that's funny. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and look forward to next Monday. We do this every Monday, so if you're new to the channel, join us every Monday night. And Salt Mist is our moderator. She's usually the one in here kind of asking questions when I'm usually have a topic to talk about, and keeps you guys engaged. And this is how we learn. We learn together. I will not say that I'm an expert because I'm not. We can all learn together just like we did tonight. I think it's super awesome to be able to do that. So guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for being here on TikTok, YouTube, and on Facebook. And I am praying for you guys. Don't forget tomorrow morning's video. I will post it out in the morning. If you notice, it's been a little later, but that's because I'm sleeping a little later. Got to get my rest. If not, I'm going to get in trouble by a few people, just saying, that are checking up on me. Alrighty, guys, y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining me tonight, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless you guys.